What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to go over some Plarium news here for you guys today in regards to the summon rush that's happening for the weekend. So let's jump right into it. Alrighty, so first things first, it's going to be a progressive event. So if you guys did not know, we have a summon rush that's going to be happening in less than 24 hours. Here it is, summon rush, 20 hours on it. We got some usual big rewards here, no big rock or anything like that, unfortunately. But there is a mythic book up for grabs, as well as some of these big old coins in there. The big thing about this is that it is part of the Titan event. So if you guys are going for the Titan event, or at least trying to stay on track for the big 5-star soul here, the Titan event does allow you to skip 250 points worth of events. So depending what value of points is in this summon rush, you might be able to full skip it. So it'll be up to you guys to determine when it opens. My guess is that there's probably going to be 200 points worth of Titan points in the summon rush. So let's say you have very low shards, or the summon rush doesn't look appealing to you, you can probably full skip and still be able to complete the 5-star soul if you complete the rest of the events with a little bit of wiggle room. So something else that was highlighted in the Plarium Play calendar that was not highlighted in game is that the summon rush will contain some of these prism jewels. So currently we have a unity champion pool. So if you guys don't know, these prism jewels, the blue bits of crystal here, is basically bits of a soul stone for a particular pool event. So currently we have a pool event for unity champions, so faction unity champions, and by collecting these jewels you can participate in these events. So it's right here, summon pool. The thing for me is that I have some souls ready to pull from previous summon pools. So this is kind of one strategy you can use to basically stock up on these jewels and then release them for a more desirable event. So for me, this unity pool has very little value because I don't have many of the unity champions. So I won't unplug this pool yet. So I'll just leave it plugged and I'll just keep collecting prism pools until I reach a favorable pool, and then I will unplug it and then get, a couple cracks at that pool instead. So that's a little bit of strategy there. It's a bit of a long-term one, but no real rush there to unplug that. Now let's talk about the news that's coming for this summon rush in 20 hours. So here it is. Plarium has announced to us the progressive event champions. It's going to be a 3-day event. So this summon pool and progressive will be active for 3 days. Quickly take a look at the champions here. There's some really nice champions in this pool here, guys. So if you guys are going for a Titan event, this might be one that you want to participate in instead of skipping. But yeah, keep in mind, any of these non-void progressives, you're getting about 7% chance. If you're going for the void progressives, then you're closer to 20% chance. But the first non-void we have up for grabs is Wallmaster Otherion. So Wallmaster Otherion, I actually don't have this guy. He's really strong. He's really good. He brings AoE block buffs, decreased attack, and his damage is based on enemy max HP. Now this is really strong. However, Wallmaster for newer accounts is very hard to gear out because he has a really low multiplier on this ability. So you need relatively strong gear for him to cap out his damage. But obviously he brings lots of other benefits as well, block buffs and decreased attack. He also self-buffs himself here, also has a little bit of turn meter fill, and also has a little bit of survivability from his passive. Overall, a pretty good champion, can solo spider in the right gear and all that stuff, deal lots of damage for Hydra. So really good champion if you got him. Up next, we have the cat. As part of the demon spawn faction here, so we have the cat. I don't have him. He's an awesome champion. I play tested him on the test server when we had the opportunity to do so. Yeah, really good champion here. He brings speed in all battles. He has a really cool passive that keeps him alive when he drops below a damage health threshold, and then provides block damage and perfect veil. So yeah, he has a passive that keeps him alive. That's really good. He also has a passive that applies veil or perfect veil to him, which synergizes really well with his kit overall. He's self-buffing here with the increased attack as well with an AoE. Extra turn if you kill somebody. Triple hit, single target ability. If he kills somebody, applies veil again. And then his A1 also applies veil on himself. And if he has Veil, it becomes an AoE. He does a lot of damage in Hydra as well, and he's really good in Arena. So, yeah, great champion overall. I mean, I think the biggest knock against this guy is that he's Spirit Affinity. I think if he was Magic Affinity, he'll be like mountains better. But Spirit Affinity here, I mean, you're competing against a lot of really good Spirit Affinity champions. For example, Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong, I'm not too sure. I think Sun Wukong, I mean, for Arena, Sun Wukong would probably be better than the cat. But the cat brings additional, much higher damage output for Hydra. It's kind of strange that he's a demon spawn. I still think of him as a skinwalker sometimes. And I forget that, for example, Harima counters him, because I do consider him a skinwalker. But anyways, he's going to be up for grabs for the progressive as well. Moving on, we have another champion from the demon spawns. We have Hefrak. I don't have this champion. But yeah, he's pretty cool. He can be kind of a fun defense or a fun champion to slot in on some live arena teams, for example. He has a really cool passive here that basically when your ally dies, he uses his AoE slam. And yeah, it can really catch people off guard, especially if you can't kill the Hefrak, and then you have another really squishy champion with Hefrak, for example, Sun Wukong. They work out pretty well. His AoE does an extra hit if the first hit gets the target to less than 50%. So it's a little bit it's a little bit bad because of Stone Skin and stuff. So he needs maybe a little bit of setup, such as like a strip, for example. Or maybe it'll work better in like go second teams where the other team goes first and the Stone Skin, gets worn through. But yeah, he gets a second hit here, and then he has some ignore defense. He has decent base attack as well. Good champion, but nothing insane. Gets hard counter here by Harima, for example. But yeah, he's a demon spawn. All demon spawns going to get hard countered by Harima. Moving on to our next champion from the Night Revenant, we have Cavalax. So Cavalax here, he brings passive poisons. He applies 4 poisons at the start of the round, which is pretty cool. Works with poison exploders. So for example, if you have like a couple Cavalaxes with a champion that can explode poisons, he doesn't even need to take a turn. He doesn't even need books if you use him for that kind of team, which is pretty cool. You can also use him with somebody like Teox. Teox gains turn meter for every debuff applied. So if this gets applied, then Teox is just going to get a boost right off the bat, for example. But this is easily countered by like Stone Skin, for example. But overall, he's not a bad champ. He has max HP slam here with the AoE. Lowish multiplier, so it's hard to crank this out. But he does have some other benefits, so he can apply poisons and stuff like that. Also has speed in all battles, so he can help out in dungeon clearing and just boss fights in general. But yeah, not too bad, but not too crazy of a champion. Fun fact is that he was actually created by a community member, and then Plarium liked the I think in a contest, and then the winner had their character basically put into raid, and then they were given the character for free. So this is actually a community designed character. I wish Plarium did more of that. That would be cool. Like, for a community event, that would be pretty fun. I mean, they're kind of just getting free labor because somebody else is just developing or designing a champion, and then they just kind of take it, right? So why not? Why not, involve the community? That's kind of fun. And lastly, for the non-voids here, speaking of Sun Wukong, we do have Sun Wukong up for grabs as well for the progressive event. Now, Sun Wukong is going to be less exciting because you can get him for free from the promo codes, but make no mistake, this guy is absolutely insane. And the fact that he's a free champion makes it even more insane. And yeah, make a huge boost to any account. Speed in arena battles, Arbiter is 30%, he has 28. That's really, really strong. Really good base attack here. It's got an A1 stun, good stun too, good percentage to stun, 50% chance, up to 100% chance if they have buffs. And then you got this A2 cannon here. It's a single target hit, ignore 50% of the target's defense, which is huge. It's on a 3-turn cooldown, 30% damage from books, which is on the upper end as well. The splash damage from here can just obliterate entire teams. The trick is you use this on a very weak champion with not much health left, and then the splash damage would be massive. Like, we're talking like, I don't know, for me, it's like 200, 300k Nobody's going to survive that unless you have, you know, some passive or stone skin or something. And then his A3, he has a strip and block buffs application on a 3-turn cooldown. The best thing about Sun Wukong actually is that he doesn't require any books for the debuff chance. So he doesn't require any books for the steal. It doesn't require any books for the block buffs. So if you're, you know, short on books, you can just use this ability without booking it out. It's a 4-turn cooldown, but it's still usable. And if you only need to use them once, use this once in arena, it's probably fine. And the best thing about him, outside of his skills, of course, is his passive, is what he's known for, being super, super annoying. Even when he's dead, he can come back every 3 turns. This is communal 3 turns, not your 3 turns. So he comes back very, very often at 100% turn meter. That's the big thing. So he is a massive threat to end the fight with this ability. So excellent champion. I use him quite frequently, to be honest. One of the best things about him is actually his speed aura, but he has a lot going on in his kit. He's really, really strong. And yeah, he's up for grabs for this progressive event. Moving on to the Void champions. Now we got some cool, juicy Void champions here. We got first up a Krisia. So Krisia is the max HP, max HP queen, right? She has max HP damage everywhere, enemy max HP everywhere on all those hits. She's hard to kill due to her passive. She has a turn meter steal on her A3. She has a shield on her A2 and a decreased defense on her A1. I mean, her kit is pretty nuts. Her kit is pretty nuts. But the thing is, she only max HP hits twice. And we all know that, you know, there are champions now that max HP hit 3 times. And yeah, those champions get used a little bit more. But Krisia being Void Affinity is also very good for affinity issues, but yeah, she is a great champion, still one of the best, still can dish out tons and tons of damage, so she will be up for grabs during this event. And then up next we have for the voids, here we go, here's a big one here, Enreal Ayasu. I have this champion, very fortunate to have him. He is incredible. Humongous base attack here. I use him for Hydra. He's in my nightmare team to dish out insane damage with Lady Mikage. Yeah, he's just an absolute unit, and he is very threatening in the arena field as well. He's got an A1 double hit. He lands an extra hit if the target is under 1 buff, and 2 extra hits if they are under a buff and is from the undead hordes. So Enreal just slices through somebody like Rhodos. It's basically applying 4 hits to Rhodos, and if somebody dies from this attack, he gets an extra turn, which is very awesome. And his A1, you know, hits really hard. Just really good multipliers as well. His A2 here is a single target double hit. Before the hit, destroy the target's max HP by 10%. This effect does not work on bosses. Not super relevant or anything like that, but it does help against, I guess, HP-based champions. The damage inflicted by the skill increases by 10% for each buff and debuff on the target up to 100%. So effectively, you can double damage depending on the situation on the champion. If the target is killed, places a block revive. That is really nice. There's no condition to this other than killing the champion. So if you kill the champion, block revive happens on the A2. Very strong, very threatening ability, especially in live arena, especially when they only have 1 damage dealer, especially if their damage dealer is squishy. So huge ability there. And his A3, absolute smack here. 3-turn cooldown. Single target, double hit, ignores 50% of the target's defense, similar to Sun Wukong, 50% of the target's defense, and it ignores Stone Skin, Shield, and Strengthen. This is massive. He basically ignores everything outside of increased defense, but if you need somebody to cut through Stone Skin, this is your guy here with his A3. So for all his abilities, hit really hard and are super threatening. For example, this is a quad hit against Undead. There's lots of good undead champions. This is a block revive on his A2, and this is a 50% ignore defense on his A3 and ignores Stone Skin as well. But his passive also deals tons of damage to everybody as well. Whenever this champion attacks, all enemies except the initial target. So basically, whoever you're attacking does not receive additional damage, but everybody else will get 25% of the damage dealt to the initial target, which is pretty wild. So what you want to do is basically just crank your target, and then the rest of the team will get, you know, a bit of splash damage as well. The extra damage will ignore 100% of the enemy's defense. So now this splash damage is also, you know, ignoring defense, which is insane. It's absolutely insane. So effectively, he has AoE damage dealing as well based on his passive, 35% attack in all arena battles. Yeah, like I said, insane damage dealer, insane champion. No survivability in his kit. This guy's just full damage. Yeah, if you can go first, get him out there. He's gonna be an absolute menace. Void affinity as well for a nuker is perfect. And yeah, he's going to be up for grabs for this progressive event. Up next for the Voids, we have from the Skinwalkers, we have Leorius the Proud. Leorius, he's a juiced up skull crown basically, right? He when he dies, he places unkillable on himself. His damage increases depending on how much HP he has lost. So the less HP he has, the more damage he does. He has an AoE here that applies True Fear and Weaken. It can be 100%, of course. We book him out as 4-turn cooldown. And his AoE here is a double hit. It's fine. It's on 3-turn cooldown, 30% from books, which is decent. And then he has this really cool passive effect here. Basically makes him uncontrollable to hard CC if he doesn't use this A2 ability or if he's not locked out. So it's kind of cool. He's uncontrollable, and then he's unkillable, and then he deals more damage. Ideally he soaks up some hits, and then he can deal extra damage. And then being unkillable, uncontrollable. That's the idea, right? That's the idea. And his A1 applies decreased defense and a double hit. The problem with him is that his base attack is 1400, which kind of sucks. So he really needs this damage from having low HP. Obviously, Plarium probably baked in the damage output, and this passive working together. So it seems like he really needs this to deal like some relevant damage. Without this and his base attack, he just doesn't deal enough. But of course, he's going to be a decent option in some situations because of his passive and because he's, basically hard. Immune to hard CC, so still a good champion, but not super insane anymore. And then just a quick comment about the epics here, some pretty decent ones. We have Geomancer, the GOAT himself, still the best epic in the game in my opinion, and probably many people's opinion. What he can do as an epic is absurd, especially against bosses and stuff. Really elevates your damage output. We also have some pretty notable mentions here. For example, we have Fat Man, very good, a bunch of value surgings in various areas, mainly Chimera. This guy has shown that he is going to be very valuable in Chimera as well. Even for late game accounts, he brings HP burn and poisons, which can help for some trials, and he also brings the increased crit rate, increased crit damage as well, and a backup decrease defense. Very useful for Chimera. And then we have Allure, another very strong epic from the demon spawns here. I mean, she's going to be the GOAT in a lot of areas. For progression, she's really good in the dungeons against some of the bosses. For example, Fire Knight's going to be really good. And Dark Fae is coming next rotation, and she is a god against Dark Fae, so she will be up for grabs as well. In terms of the Void epics, we have another GOAT epic here, and he is a Void epic. Inquisitor Shamael. This guy takes care of the Head of Torment for you. It's going to energize your Hydra team. It's going to bring them to another level. And you know what? He actually deals some decent damage too, right? If you get 4 buffs on him, he ignores 100% of the target's defense. He can eliminate things like Rotos in like high Doom Tower waves. That's when you bring out your Inquisitor Shamael and gear him out. You don't need ignore defense as long as you get the buffs on him. So yeah, he's a good champ, very good champ. And lastly, we have the Worgen, the Werewolf. I don't have too much experience with this guy, but he doesn't seem to be sorry, I'm swimming around here, but where's the werewolf? There he is. There he is. He has a single target double hit, chance to steal random buff, a single target triple hit, ignoring shields, places fear, and then unkillable if he kills somebody, swaps HP of the enemy and grants an extra turn. His passive, deal 30% more damage against targets whose current HP is lower than this champion. He has low HP himself, so it's kind of hard to make it work. So he has to kind of use his ability on a 5-turn cooldown, and then he's going to come in and, kind of triple slash you up and steal your stuff. I don't think he's, anything super special or anything like that as a damage dealer, but he's going to be up for grabs as well. I don't think anybody's going to pick him over Inquisitor Shamael, but you never know. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the news and the upcoming Summon Rush for this weekend. Like I said, it's going to be part of the Titan event. It's going to have Titan points in it, as well as the Unity Prism Soul fragments in there as well, if you guys are interested in that. Enreal, probably the main prize in this whole batch of champions. The pool is solid pool. Lots of good prizes there if you guys want to pick some up. But usually progressive events are, you know, pretty long shots, so don't get your hopes up too high. Just pull to complete events, and if you get something as a result, then, you know, be happy. But just remember, your goal was to complete the event, not to try to fish for some of these champions, unless you're whaling out and then you know what you're getting yourself into. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are interested in these events, if you guys have any of these champions, if you guys use them in any unique and cool ways. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.